And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is Monday, February 13th of 2023. We're back for a new week of shows. And, of course, the countdown is on to Country Radio Seminar, March 13 to 15 at the Omni Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be there broadcasting our show live from the media room, and already some great guests lined up. I've talked about it on social media and, of course, here on the show. McBride and the Ride, Buddy Jewell, T.G. Shepard, T. Graham Brown, and a host of others. The names just keep coming in and day out. Some of your up and coming artists, and of course, your legends out there in the business. Shenandoah is going to drop by the booth. Marty Raybon, Mike McGuire. We're also getting ready for their concert coming up this Saturday, February 18th. La Berge Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Billy Dean, Shenandoah, and Wade Hayes will be performing live starting at 8 o'clock this Saturday night. Of course, it's all presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out, bangtail.com, and, of course, easyliquor.com, Total Wine and Specs in Nashville. Our friends at Gentle Ben Spirits out there, too. I had actually went to a Super Bowl party this week. Somebody had tried Gentle Ben. I brought my bottle. They said, man, where'd you get that stuff? I said, yeah, it's in the Houston area, Total Wine and Specs. It's also with the Rockets. They make their vodka, their gin, their bourbon is fantastic, gentleben.com. And our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas here in Silsbee, Texas. Great dance hall, great place to dine, drink, and dance out there too. Well, I tell you what, I was doing Instagram a few weeks ago, and I come across this beautiful lady on the screen here, and I hear her music, and I hear one single, and I was like hooked, put it that way. It's like when you go fishing and catch a big fish, you're like always pleased that the rest of your day may not have gone well, but you catch that one fish, you're like, that's all I needed. She's here on the show with us to talk about that, and then some. As Nashville recording artist, Kacy Moon joins us here. Kacy, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing swell. It is Monday. We had a Super Bowl hangover, I guess you could say. Not the outcome I wanted to. Not really a hangover. Just the way the game ended, hangover. Not drunk, but it was just one of those. I wasn't in a good mood last night. Kind of, the way it ended. The Chiefs winning by 3, but it is what it is. But I'm here to talk music with you, and we'll leave sports for another day. But I love this single, Set in Stone, you guys put out there too. First, I want to kind of start getting to know you a little bit, and then the journey to Nashville, because we were talking before the show began. You've only been there a couple of years now. You went there a couple of writers' rounds. But just talk about you growing up, your love for music, and the connection with country. And, of course, when did you kind of know this was your calling?
So it's kind of one of those things where there was always music playing in my house growing up. My parents always had music on. It was Shania Twain, Garth Brooks and Dunn. That was pretty much what I remember, at least. But Shania Twain was definitely my favorite and what I just gravitated to. And I just remember being like really young. She was one of my first concerts. I think I was 5 years old. I went to see her live. I was just like in awe. And I just remembered being like, I want to do that. And I would just play her like live concert videos and just watch her performing on the stage. And then I would go try and like reenact it for my family and make everybody watch me. So yeah, it was just kind of always like, I guess in me, just this like love of music and performing and whatnot. So yeah, it was kind of just like always there, but then I kind of took a side detour into martial arts, but
Tell me a little bit more about that, because competition is everything out there. Sports, martial arts, the same thing. Music, they're so well integrated out there. And and I'm a martial arts champ just like yourself. You've done some competitions out there too, and know the mindset that you have to have and how strong-willed and dedicated you have to be to your craft in doing that. How did martial arts kind of prepare you for this thing called music?
Yeah, I mean, everything from just work ethic and just kind of knowing that, the time that you put into it, you'll really, get back from it. So just, training as much as I did, and then just kind of getting a thick skin of, rejection and like, doing something, maybe not placing as well as you thought you should, and dealing with that. And then also what I did was performance martial arts. So it was, pretty high pressure. And, I was on one of the top teams in the circuit. So, just to do well and perform my best. And it was kind of just all that I did for probably the time I was about 9 to 13. So have 8 world titles,
Wow.
and would just kind of be, performing on stage like in front of thousands of people. And it's kind of, I know it's martial arts, but it goes hand in hand because
Hmm.
now I can get up on stage and it's like I feel comfortable even though I'm doing something different. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of, that also was like my love for performing. Um, I realized that too, like just doing through martial arts. So yeah.
Has Nashville kind of been? A lot of people will say this too. That it's the 10-year town. Sometimes it's 15, maybe longer than that too. To get that break when you first moved there, was there that, I guess, deer in the headlights kind of look about need to, of course, make the contacts, network,
Mhm.
get involved in some of the riders rounds, or when you
Mhm.
first got there, was it kind of the complete opposite? Like, I've got this. I've got the confidence from doing the martial arts, so I know what competition's all about. I've got to be at
Mhm.
my best. Take me through the process of kind of first getting there and how you
Mhm.
felt.
Well, so I actually, once I was done competing in martial arts, I moved to LA for a while. So I was doing acting and music out there. So when I moved here, it was a little intimidating just because it was like, new people, a new scene, kind of feels like you're starting over. But I was like, I've been doing this for years, kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
I had some friends that from LA that had moved out here. So I kind of, it, met some people and kind of got into some good like writers' rooms and things through that, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like in the past 2 years, it's been great. As far as like my music and my writing, I feel like it's just grown so much
Hmm.
in that time. So yeah, it's been great out here for me.
I love it too. We're going to be there. It's a great city. Trust me. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff to do there too, and a lot of places to go see.
Yeah.
Some great music too. What's it like to know that like I said, you're backed by, you mentioned a lot of your peers who are in this industry here, that everywhere you go in that town, Kacy, there's music on every corner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And people are, I mean, there's so many talented people here.
Hmm.
Um, but I love it. I love being surrounded by people who are good and better than I am, and it just makes you like, want to be your best. So I just love the energy, and yeah, it's a great place to be if you're, a
Hmm.
musician, songwriter, anything like
And
that.
if you're like me who can't sing but love to host shows like this and go to concerts and be members of the media, it's a great place to go cover all the shows that you can out there too.
Yeah.
They take me back for we play the single out there, which is across all the digital platforms right now. You can go check it out if you haven't already. It came out there at the end of January 27th, I believe to be exact, called Set in Stone from Kacy Moon. Take me through the first couple of singles released, and did you kind of know that it was like your sound, what you wanted to perfect, the type of song like The Issue to put out, and then the second one, I Don't Miss You, there in 2021. Take me through that process of making the first two singles.
So the issue I wrote with my good friend Blessing Offer. He's amazing, and it both of those songs were very different experiences writing wise. The issue was like I was going over to my friend's house to hang out, and we ended up writing the song. I Don't Miss You was my second co-write ever in Nashville, and it was with Sarah Hayes and Jeff Pardo, who are two like
Mm-hmm.
amazing songwriters. And so I walked in the room and I was like, oh my gosh, like so intimidated, like what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
But it was turned out amazing, got a great song. But yeah, just very different experiences. But yeah, I feel like those songs were definitely um two like really good songs for me at the time to kind of put out. And I feel like since then I've kind of found my sound a little bit more and,
Mm-hmm.
matured in my songwriting and whatnot. But yeah.
I love it too. And we're going to talk a lot about those other singles there from 2021. Of course, No Vacancy led into the EP, which was your self-titled EP there in 2021. So still a lot to get to as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to set you up for the performance now because I want to hear the beautiful tones you have. And of course, the song that struck my chord out there, which was good to get my attention, Just Being Honest, which came out there in 2022. So it's all yours. And I know you're going to sing the single for us, Set in Stone.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like you. I got to get me a drink here a second. I'm going to
Yeah.
drink Bangtail Whiskey and Gentle Ben Spirits tonight, too. Folks, if you haven't checked them out, bangtail.com, some of the best whiskey on the market out there. And then if you're like me and you love gin, vodka, and bourbon, gentleben.com. Check them out there, the Houston market, Total Wine Specs. And I went to that party, Kacy, tonight. People loved the bourbon. So my God, it was fantastic. And I even used a little bit of the vodka to make like this little cranberry cocktail, which was really good. So if you love the drink, you found the right show. And I was listening to Just Being Honest. There you go. Around the Gentle Ben Bangtail drinks. So,
oh my gosh. Love it. Thank you.
People were like, who is that young lady? I said, tune in Monday, Kacy Moon here on the Backstage Pass. It's all yours, my friend. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, this is my most recent single I just put out. It is called Set in Stone. You were set on me from the beginning. I was playing house, but you were dreaming. I was holding hands, but you were thinking too much. I just wanted you to call me, and that's not what your ring was. I'm the girl next door, but the neighborhood is yours. You sat on small town church on Sunday, everybody goes. I'm set on big city, neon flashing, names of all the shows. You set on that family farm passed down from father to son. I'm set on freedom, yeah, life on the run. You set on steady and slow, like a country road. You set on me, and here I am hoping, I'm just hoping we ain't set in stone. We ain't set in stone. You were set on white picket fences. I just wanted highways that were endless. You were putting roots down, I just couldn't wait to move out of this town and never turn around. I'm the girl you'll fight for, but you'll never win the war. You sat on small town church on Sunday, everybody goes. I'm set on big city, neon flashing, names of all the shows. You sat on that family farm passed down from father to son. I'm set on freedom, yeah, life on the run. You set on steady and slow, like a country road. You set on me, and here I am hoping, I'm just hoping we ain't set in stone. We ain't set in stone. I'm the girl next door, but the neighborhood is yours. I'm the girl you'll fight for, but you'll never win the war. You sat on small town. You sat on small town. You sat on that family farm passed down from father to son. I'm set on freedom, yeah, life on the run. On me, and here I am hoping, I'm just hoping we ain't set in stone. We ain't set in stone. We ain't set in stone.
It's a beautiful song. Came out there January 27th from the great Kacy Moon out there too, across all the digital platforms. Set in Stone, current single out there too. We got a lot more to get to. We'll come back and talk about that particular song. They'll lead into the EP, which was their self-titled EP, which came out in 2021, No Vacancy. And then the ultimate question people are asking, yes, we're going to talk about Just Being Honest here on the Backstage Pass. Again, leading up to Country Radio Seminar. If you're there, you come by and say hi to me too, because I'll be at the Omni March 13, 14, and 15, interviewing Nashville's best and brightest, the rising country stars, and some legends sprinkled in there this year too. It's like more people are getting out. Shenandoah, McBride and the Ride, Buddy Jewell, and a whole lot more will be joining us there. Chi-Chi Shepherd, T. Graham Brown, always love saying his name, T. Graham Brown, will stop by too there at the Backstage Pass, the media booth. Please say hi. 13, 14, 15. It's going to be warmer this year, and all presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, Gentle Ben Spirits, and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. Quick timeout. More with Kacy Moon here on the Backstage Pass. Hang tight. Coming right back.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. Yeah, it's great music, and that's how they're doing it right there, removing all the impurities from that drink, the Prosecco process. Get rid of the burn, man. I had somebody try it the other night, and they said, we love the smoothness of it. I said, that's what you're going to get with Gentle Ben out there, too. Sit back and raise that glass of Gentle Ben with your friends, your family, your coworkers, and at the end of a week, you know what kind of drink you want there. It's gentleben.com, the vodka, the gin, the bourbon. It's also in with the Houston market down here, the Houston Rockets at Toyota Center. They got their own bar inside Section 225. Go by there and just talk to Ricky Ford. They're just great people based out of Alvin, Texas. And if you like gin, vodka, and bourbon, put your order in, gentleben.com. And I was at that party, and people, I said, where'd you get it from? I said, hey, I only advertise for the best here on the broadcast here. As we count down to CRS, Gentle Ben, a presenting sponsor, and our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. We only drink the best whiskey here on the podcast, as well as the vodka, the gin, the bourbon for Gentle Ben, and our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas. Back here with Kacy Moon here on the Backstage Pass here as we count down to CRS. Your latest single, Set in Stone, is out there across all the digital platforms. So tell me all about this, because you take a single like No Vacancy and then you put that on a great EP. My goodness, I loved everything about the EP, including the song that led it off called Whiskey Love, which I thought really set the tone for that record. Tell me all about that from No Vacancy, which then ends up on the EP, and then you have a great song like Whiskey Love to set that record off.
Yeah. So that whole process, I mean, I feel like, let's see, 3 out of those 5 songs I wrote with Blessing, my friend, Blessing Offer. And I don't know, they just ended up, I felt like they fit together, and I was like, why not just, package it all up, put out an EP. Mm-hmm. But, Whiskey Love and No Vacancy are my 2 favorites on the EP. So yeah, No Vacancy I actually wrote in Los Angeles. Okay. With Blessing. I was still living there at the time. I was making trips back and forth, and he was kind of doing the same thing. He was living in Nashville, making trips to LA. So we wrote that song in LA. And I cut it out here, the EP, with my friend Josh Barker, who actually produced set in stone. So
Okay.
kind
All right.
of, yeah, keep it in the
Keep
family.
it in the family. It overlaps, no doubt. All right. Then you take 2022. I love the single Easy, which came out for you guys, which is another uh, different feel on the song, but some of the same beautiful vocals we get to hear from you. Tell us about Easy and kind of the meaning behind that one.
Yeah, it was about a breakup and just kind of how you have your reasons and things for why something needs to end, but then some months can go by and you kind of sit there and you're like, wait a minute, was it really that bad? Like, was I, and you start to kind of romanticize the relationship, and then you have to be like, no, like it's, there were reasons why it ended and it's all for the best. But so that's kind of just about that process that I feel like everyone kind of deals with after a breakup of like, oh no, did I make a mistake?
Well, great song out there too, and I'm sure it hit a number of chords and a few nerves with people out there who've dealt with a breakup. Never easy, as the song title is there. Then you kind of go from that to right there before just being honest, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But Mixed Signals, and I loved definitely the single artwork cover. Who did that? Walk me through that process, because you're wearing some killer boots. I'm gonna tell you right now, some great boots on that album cover, single art cover, and then the song really had a great message too for Mixed Signals.
Thank you. So that one I wrote with two of my friends, Shantea and Melissa Livingstone. They're both Canadian country music artists. And
I know Shantea. You tell her I said hello. She knows my show very well. Yes.
So, it's kind of funny. I had gone out the night before our songwriting session, and I remember I was out and I just kind of had this like thought about mixed signals and having to do with like I just had it in my notes. Like I was out, I wasn't like really paying attention. I just had like mixed signals, car things. Like I was like, when I woke up the next day and I was like, what is this? So I took it to them and I was like, should we write this or is this like stupid? And they were like, no, we love it. Let's do it. So that's kind of how that started. I'm always like jotting things down in notes and then looking back later and being like, is that cool or not? I don't know. But yeah, so we wrote that. Jake Partial produced it. Saxman Studios, like amazing musicians played on that. And I kind of just wanted that one to be more of an edgy kind of rock country feel to it. So yeah, that one's definitely my more like edgy, more rock kind of sound, which I really like, kind of, it was fun to like switch it up. So
I like that one too. It's the vibe I got from it was an edgy rock kind of feel too. All right, $1 million question, because everybody's been telling me yes, I'm going to ask about it because it was the one that really got me on social media. I believe it was October, November, somewhere in there when it did come out that you guys released this. I thought it was the perfect country song to get on as a former program director for a major market station down here in Texas, that I would want to put that on my playlist, like take the old CD or whatever, a digital play, download it, put it in there. And this would be one that my phone would ring, because it would understand, one, it's a personal side of things too, about breakup, things like that, and going through something and just being honest, which came out there at the end of 2022. Where, when, how? Give me all these details, because did you kind of know at the time, at least I felt for me, it was like the perfect country song. And I would play it as a PD of a station, put that at least, and say, if that's not top 15, that's top 10 to me.
Wow. Thank you so much. That song actually was my first co-write in Nashville in 2019 with Ben Caver and Matt Braunlouis, and Matt produced it as well. And it was one of those that we wrote and I loved it. And it kind of just sat there. Like, I started writing other things, and I feel like that is the case with most songwriters. It's like you have so much and you're always writing. And so songs just sometimes just get lost in the shuffle. But it was kind of always one that would just randomly, I would think about. And I was like, that song, like, I really do want to do it. And I just had the demo, the scratch vocals. So I reached out to Matt and I was like, hey, I really want to do this. And, let's cut the vocals and do the thing. So we did that back in 2021, the summer of 2021. And then still same thing. I was like, okay, cool. And then it just sat there again because Easy came out, Mixed Signals. And I was like, okay, I feel like now's the time. Need to put it out. And the response has been amazing. And it's one of my favorites as well. So I'm glad people are liking it.
Well, it struck a chord for me, no doubt. And I, again, just not just saying that too, because I know, like to think I know after hosting this show for 4 years, so what good country music is all about. Because, and I'll say this too, for it, knowing I grew up, and just like you mentioned about some of your musical influences, Shania Twain, things like that, you grow up on 90s country, and you don't know what that's about. And I've talked to so many great 90s country artists here. I mentioned some of the names that are going to be at CRS in a few weeks, T.G. Shepherd and T. Graham Brown and Exile, the band, and Shenandoah, people that know the ins and outs of the industry because they've been around it for so long. That song for you, for me at least, what struck the chord is, and I had to have you here on the show, that was, like I said, top 10, something that I'm driving in my car. I'm like a teenager back in the day. I'm too old now, and I'm still driving in my truck even today, and I want to turn that on, and I want to play that over and over again because it had a 90s feel to it. Did you get that kind of vibe with, I mean, I know it sat there for a while, but were people telling you that your vocals, the way you did it and the way the production of the record came out, and that single really had that 90s country feel to it?
No, it was kind of just one of those things where it just felt right. I don't know. It just all kind of came together. And I mean, that was all Matt, and just, he's an amazing songwriter, producer, and, his resume, he's done so many great things. So I was just his, instinct to kind of do it like that. I would tell him like my influences, and, there's so many great, female country artists right now that I love. I still love that pop country as well, like the Kelsey Ballerini and the Maddie and Tay. And I just love a good, catchy melody and just like good production, good, clear vocals. Like that's just what I love. And I think he nailed it. So yeah, I'm super happy with it.
Well, he did nail it, no doubt about that. And like I said, production for you, vocals on point. It was a very good song out there too. And all these songs we're talking about today, guys, you guys can go download on the digital platforms out there, wherever you stream or download music. I recommend Apple, but that's just how I am when it comes to being an iPhone person too. Loving that subscription to check out everything. Plus, now, as far as 23 goes, tell me about, I know you mentioned CRS, some of the live shows. I talk to people every day in the industry that, more people are out there playing, clubs and bars and things like that. Venues are opening up again for random performances, things like that. Are you looking to play more live here in 23?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to hop on a small tour with an artist. Like that's definitely a goal of mine for this year. I'm playing some writers rounds and things in town, and I play Bus Call at Tin Roof a lot, which is a live full band show, which is super fun, like 3 songs. And then, writers rounds, I'm playing this one called In the Round at Live Oak the end of this month, which will be super fun.
Okay.
And yeah, and then just lots, I'm in the studio and writing. So I'm already got the new song, next single ready to go. So it never stops.
You know where I'm going to go there because I'm ready for something like that, because everybody will say the next project here, musicians never rest on their laurels. I continue to say that on every show I do because something's in the can. They're ready for it to go. For you, what's next? Is there a title? Is there a drop date? What can you let out of the bag?
Yeah. All right. Well, it's called Wasting Miles.
Okay.
It is, yeah, I'm excited for it. I recorded the final vocals on Friday. So look out for it in March.
Oh, nice. All right. So if I'm there, you come by and see me if it drops. We're going to do a little something here live with the phone interview or some impromptu interview that we can do that. We'll figure out a way with technology to put this thing there. And I think it's fantastic. So we'll be there if it's anywhere near that drop date that I'm in Music City covering the country radio seminar. We'll have to get you on and make some time there. All right, this is a fun part of the show I get to do, and I do some rapid fire. So this is cool, and I love this because it gets to know you more on a personal basis. All right, for me, I'm binge watching this show called Your Honor. Now it's coming on Showtime and a couple other networks. I guess the Showtime network or the on-demand thing. HBO Max, The Last of Us, which is about the apocalyptic. The 2 actors from Game of Thrones have done a great job on that. And then just love shows that I can get into that are, I don't want to say murder mystery, but something like a Breaking Bad or something like an Ozark can come out. What does Kacy Moon get into when she binge watches?
Ooh, okay. So I just binge watched the new season of You.
Okay.
So that it was only 5 episodes. So I binged that on Saturday. I just sat on my couch all day and binged it.
Nothing wrong with that.
And so I'm waiting for the part 2 comes out in March. They like broke up the season.
Now, what's that about you? What is that?
It's based on a novel. It's kind of murder mystery about this guy, serial killer, and it's the 4th.
I'm gonna watch it. No said.
It's the 4th season, so you got to start from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and is that on a HBO?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Okay. So you got me hooked
Yep.
on serial killer. And of course, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just shows like that I can. It's just acting and actresses and things like that. Shows that I'm good there when it comes down to it. All right. When you're having that late night, I say late night, could be craving of any point, food wise, drink wise. What do you get into with a craving with food or beverage?
Ooh, okay. I've been really into these. I get them at Costco and they're like fudge popsicles.
Okay.
So that or
don't tell me you got the same ones I got, because I went to Costco this weekend and we ended up getting some of the fudge pops.
They're probably the same. It's a big like white green box.
That's great box. So they are good. I have yet to open them, but
They're
you're okay.
Good. They're so good.
So tonight because Kacy said so, we're having fudge pops that we did. Isn't that ironic how that Costco shopper to Costco shopper? It's and it's good stuff too. And I actually had some organic, was it breakfast sauce? Some kind of breakfast sausage that my wife had the other day. It was some links or whatever they had, and cut it up, made like sausage egg tacos with flour tortillas.
Right.
And it was more of an organic, supposed to be better for you type of sauce. But anyway, it was, Costco's not going to sell anything that's not worth more organic choices to have, and their eggs, their milk. Again, she would. Now we opened a Pandora's box. I got to get them as a sponsor to get Costco on here for a major. It's really good. Free time outside of music, what other hobbies do you like to do?
Ooh, I love snowboarding, which I have yet to go this season. And I used to live on the West Coast, so it was super easy to just go drive a couple hours, be at a great mountain. And now in Tennessee, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So yeah, I really miss that. But I love to cook.
Okay.
And bake and martial arts still, I'm active. So anything, boxing or just working out with my trainer, things like that. In the summertime, going on the boat with friends, like wakeboarding, things like that,
All that's fun stuff right there too. Outdoorsy kind of stuff, which is a good thing out there. All right. Do you remember that? This might take some thought now. The title of the first song you ever wrote and what it was about, or if you don't remember the title, just a general idea of what was the song about. The first one you ever wrote, put pen to paper.
Okay. First song I ever wrote. Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny is I found like an old diary at my parents' house, and I would have been like 8 years old, and I opened it up and it was a song that I wrote, just lyrics though. There was no melody. It was just almost like a poem, but I knew I intended it to be a song, and I forget the name of it, but it was definitely about like a boy that, that broke my heart, and I'm 8 years old. But anyway.
Well, I always say this: never too young to understand what that's about too, because my soon-to-be 3-year-old Kacy, she's already got her first crush in a daycare environment. Yes, I'm gonna say it there. Mention the boy's name, but it's and he has a birthday party coming up this weekend. My daughter got the invitation the other day on Friday, Thursday, whatever it was. We hit the weekend. Every time you take it away from her, the invitation, she knows I have to put it on the table when she's eating and tell her, sweetheart, you're going to get it back. Don't worry. But she holds on to that like it's just hotcake. She will not let that thing go. Her first little crush before she turns 3. So
that's adorable.
It does work like that too. Kids are much more smarter today and much more advanced than I guess we were back in the day. So it can happen. All right, I'll finish with this one. I love this one. It's always fun. Okay. If you won the lottery, one of the big Mega Millions, Powerball, whatever, what's the first thing you would do? Cash option, you get it all. What's the first thing you do with the money?
This is probably like a lame answer, but I would invest some in the stock market.
Okay. Smart. Yes.
My grandpa has like taught me, or he's trying to teach me. I don't
Mhm.
know much, but he's like, you got to invest and you got to put it here. And he just tells me, and I'm like, all right, got it. So, so he'd be proud of that answer if he's watching
If
this.
he's watching. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a great answer because some people would say otherwise, no doubt about it too. Hey, I'm glad I discovered you, man. Social media is such a great, powerful tool. Instagram has done it for me. I know it's doing it a lot for you out there too. Set in Stone is the current single, and cannot wait for the next one to come out there in March. We talked about there too. She's the up and coming bright artist in Nashville, Tennessee, chasing her dream up there, just like many of the others in that super talented city. And hey, I love the fact that you put out some great tunes. I know for you, it's just the beginning. And I'm just being honest here, no pun intended. We can expect big things for her in 2023 here coming up. Hey, thanks so much for being on the show, and let's get together in Nashville when I get there. Come find me.
Okay, will do. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Set in stone across all the digital platforms. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I don't know. We may have a show. I may take off, just go be with the with the wife. Who knows what's going to happen here on the show? I can tell you, Ella Langley is going to be on here in a few weeks, and of course, CRS 2023 presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out, bangtail.com or easyliquor.com. Total Wine and Specs in Nashville. You can get the bottle there. Also, Gentle Ben Spirits, again, removing all the impurities from their vodka, gin, and bourbon out there. You can order online at gentleben.com. Experience what I experienced. No more burn. Get rid of all that. The smoothness is great. And our friends at Honky Tonk Texas, as we're live from Nashville, Tennessee. The Backstage Pass, March 13 to 15 at the Omni Hotel. Kacy and a whole slew of others are going to be there with us, broadcasting live. Looking forward to that at the Omni Hotel for Country Radio Seminar 2023. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. To you and yours. And of course, we may be here tomorrow. We may not, just depending upon if I want to work or not here on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to all our sponsors. We'll see you guys soon. Have a terrific night and happy Valentine's Day for the rest of this week. We'll see you this week on Wednesday for a show. I can tell you that here on the Backstage Pass. Until then, take care. Have a great night.